All right, my trip to Houston. Well, Houston was an interesting experience. I got to see many different places, try a number of different types of food, meet a number of different types of people. It ranged from the most unsavory people to the most friendly people. You have a whole mix here in Houston. Houston is, lower this down. Houston is a very diverse city. It's one of the most diverse cities within the United States of America. You have a large population of Latinos, I believe mostly coming from Mexico. Also, you also have a large black population and also other ethnic groups from the racial classification of Caucasian. While in Houston, I got to meet all these different kinds of people and see how their culture intertwined, interacted, and meshed with one another. uh, when going out in nightlife in the downtown area near Montrose, I noticed that there was a lot of interaction of different groups of people. So, i.e., Latin with black or Latin with white, etc. You had a lot of quote unquote, uh, using the studio science term, uh, racial mixing. Um, and people didn't seem to assess too much over that, although there was clearly some segregation going on. But be that as it may, people interacted with one another in this really huge metropolitan. I think it's like the fourth. There's an alarm going off here in the airport. It's the fourth largest city in the nation, and it attracts a lot of people due to the oil companies that are stationed here. Upon my arrival, I arrived at Hobby Airport in southern Houston, in the south part of Houston, and later on took my lodging back to the Hampton Inn. It was okay. It was the Hampton Inn at the Gallery. It was an okay hotel, but it wasn't the best. It was kind of rinky dink. Honestly I thought it was like a motel, not a hotel. I later switched it and went to La Quinta, and it was pretty good. It was actually one of the better hotels here in the region. And La Quinta, it had pretty good continental breakfast as well. So while down here, I checked out some additional sights and sounds to include the bar scene. So I went on a bar crawl. I believe it's called Nightly Spirits. Nightly Spirits. It was hosted by a woman named Emily. And on the tour, we did a number of different things to include and drink at a number of different bars. First, we started at, I believe, a bar called Char Bar. Then we migrated across the street to Nico Nico's, which is a popular chain restaurant here in the Houston area. From there, we later on went to a couple other bars locally and had some drinks, had some conversations, and learned some more about some ghostly spirits that are supposedly living in the different areas there. I'll put a link to the website so you can check it out for those that are viewing this video right now. It's a pretty interesting experience. Shows some pictures of these spirits and their time here and how I guess they haven't left, they haven't decided to leave yet. So later on, I ate at a vegan restaurant earlier. It was called Veggios, and I met a DJ there, and he invited me to a Spanish restaurant in Caddy. It's called Pablo's Restaurant. So I went there later on afterwards and hit the bar and the dance scene. Hey, they getting down here. They don't care. It was a fun time. I enjoyed being there. Had a couple of drinks. Had me a Jack and Coke, and it was all good. A lot of beautiful sights there. A lot of beautiful sights. I thought I was in Latin America. Although this really was Latin America at one time, something happened. I'll leave it at that. But it was a swell time. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the sights and sounds. Chatted up with a couple people. We remaining in contact, and it was all good. Powell's Restaurant. It's in Caddy, Texas. Caddy, Texas. So when you're in the area, if you want to have some great Spanish food, Latin fare, and you want to go dancing with your significant other, this is some good music, ranging from hip hop to reggaeton. Go check it out. I definitely recommend it. Later on, I eventually went back to my lodging, and then from there, I woke up next morning and then checked out more of the town. While traveling, I checked out a number of different places downtown, specifically the Fourth Ward. While in the Fourth Ward, I checked out. It was a restaurant. It was called Cooney. What was it called? Corny Cafe, something like that. So they had a lot of a lot of vegan food there, mostly like Southern comfort food. It was okay. Wasn't nothing really overly special. Kind of reminded me of New Vegan in Washington, D.C., but it was something to try out. I thought the atmosphere was okay. It seemed a little bit unnecessarily tense. I think it's in a black area, so how that goes. People come to try the black food and then scared when they're there, which is ridiculous. But that's the culture here in that area. But it was okay. It was okay. Later on, I checked out a couple other sights and sounds in and around town. It wasn't too far away from the so-called notorious Fifth Ward. I met a couple people within the area, chatted up, talked to them about the city. How is it? What's the best places to go to? They was telling me, I was asking about the hospitals. How are the hospitals here? So they told me about MD Center. It's supposed to be one of the premier hospitals in the nation, and certainly within the region. MD Cancer Center. They crossed this cancer part out, so I think they're covering a lot of different things that needed to be taken care of. So and then also we talked about like how the school system was. How's the school system? Is it really good? Is it really bad? I heard that Caddy actually has one of the better school systems to also include Cypress, Texas, and then also Jersey Village. So it was really good, informative information, talking to the locals. And they seem, I would say overall, being here in Houston, Texas, it was an interesting experience to revisit another part of the United States of America. I would say the people, I know Southern hospitality is synonymous with the South. I would say the people were very soft, much more softer than, let's say, on the East Coast. They were a little bit more relaxed in some ways mindlessly intense. But that's due to programming that an intellectual knows when studying the different physiology and movement of people. However, overall, I would say that the people seem to try to maybe be governed by a spiritual connection. The Christian religion, I think, is really popular down here. See a lot of people with the crosses on, and I think they try to, follow those tenets that they learn on Sundays. I would say that overall, it's one of the more relaxed part of the United States of America. Even though don't get it twisted, Houston is a very busy city. Has a lot of companies, organizations around here. The traffic can be crazy in the area. It's a huge city. Like I said earlier in the video, the fourth largest city in the nation. So you have a lot of traffic coming in, coming out. It's really it has a lot of history to it as well. And with the blacks in Galveston and their heritage there, and then also the time that the Cherokee Indians were here before they were pushed via Trail of Tears, if I'm not mistaken, westward. And then also, of course, when Mexico owned Texas at one time until it was stolen. And, so it has a lot of history, has some really cool people. I think people will tend to warm up to you once they see you. These are the kind of people that will speak if you speak to them, which being a contrast to some other parts of the United States. I say if you're looking for a great place to check out in the South, try some great food, especially if you like barbecue, you're a meat eater. Barbecue is really popular down here. uh, when you're down here, you need a car. Uh, Public transportation is really good, but excuse me, I would not rely on that. I would, to get from A to B in a efficient manner, renting a car or having a car while moving back and forth around here because it is a very large city. Also, getting out, like any other city, getting out, talking to the locals, finding out about the people, what their likes are, their dislikes, where's the best places to eat. A lot of fast food, a lot of just overall fast food, regular restaurants are here. Whataburger is very popular here. Once again, Whataburger is really popular here. It's a popular chain restaurant in the South. I believe it was a former mom and pop shop, but it grew really large, and I think they sold it to a company in New York. But that's really popular here. All your conveniences, no matter where you are in the country, are going to be here, i.e. the Starbucks of the world, the McDonald's, Mickey D's of the world, Burger Kings, etc. You have some fine dining restaurants here as well. Papacitas, if I'm not mistaken, is a Mexican restaurant. Is very popular here as well. So lots of places to go, get some great food, and then of course your local chain and local Tex-Mex restaurants are in abundance here in Texas. So I say when you're in the area, try out the diversity of great food, talk to the diversity of great people, and get to know Texas.